Alexander Calder Spinelli of Longbow Media here at the Indianapolis NRA Annual Meeting 2019. And today we are here with Team Wilson competitive shooter Mandy Bachman at the Proper booth. Thank you so much for joining me.
Hey, thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
So now that we're at the Proper booth, regarding proper clothing, what's your preference on the clothing that they have available?
So I have several things that I really like. The kinetic pants by far are my favorite. I actually have on a pair right now in the gray, the charcoal. I wear them all the time when I'm competing and shooting, and I'm obviously around places like this. They have great pockets, a little bit of stretch. And then one of my other favorite things from Proper is the range bag. Lots of space, lots of pockets, great places to put my gear, and very comfortable to haul around. It has a great strap on it, so when I have a whole bunch of ammo and stuff in the bag, it doesn't rub my shoulder really bad. So those two things would have to be my favorite things from Proper. And then of course the tactical vest, I use it in EPA.
So when you're competing, can the wrong clothing choice make a big impact on your end result?
Definitely. So I like a little bit of stretch in my pants. I mean, you never know when you're going to have to crouch down, get on your knees, go prone, running, jumping. I've had to climb ladders and stuff before. So you want to have some good movement in your clothing. So if you wear things that are too tight or don't have stretch, it makes those movements really hard.
So how did you yourself get involved in competitive shooting?
My journey into competitive shooting is kind of a weird one. I was around some very good shooters for several years that my husband had met and started shooting with. I didn't shoot. I would go and watch them, and Bill and Joyce Wilson were two of those people, and most people will probably recognize those names from Wilson Combat and EPA, and they both started really pushing me to get started into shooting and encouraging me to get, join the competitive shooting world. And I fought back a lot on that, I'm not sure I'm ready. And they kept just kind of pushing me and guiding me and mentoring me, and now I'm here and doing it, and I love it.
Now, can competitive shooting be just as physically demanding as other sports as well?
Definitely. I played a lot of sports growing up. I was a gymnast for 16, 17 years. I was a college cheerleader. I played basketball, volleyball, track, did all kinds of stuff growing up. And it requires the same types of things. You've got to have that athletic ability to some extent, and the mental toughness to me is what transfers over, and knowing how to focus and that drive to be successful. So all of those things that I learned from sports growing up and sports that I've coached have really transferred over to shooting.
So actually, how would sports or competitive shooting, that focus, translate into everyday life? How can you apply that to other aspects? That drive and focus that I have in sports, I use it all the time in work, meeting deadlines, getting things done, practicing, with shooting. A lot of it's practicing. A lot of people don't have that drive to go out and put in the work that it requires to get things done. And, if you've grown up and, with sports doing that, it transfers over, and okay, if I want to be successful in something, these are the things that I'm going to have to do. About how much practice would you say you put in before, like a week or however long before a competition?
I typically will try to practice during match season 4 to 5 times a week. I keep my round count pretty low in practices. I tend to get comfortable if I practice too long. I kind of I don't want to develop sloppy habits, so I try to watch what I'm doing in practice and make sure that I am staying focused and keeping that focus and drive that I should have. But typically during match season, 4 to 5 times a week, 200 to 300 rounds, and I try to do that consistently.
So actually, when you're practicing, do you also practice in the same clothing that you compete in?
Yeah, so I'll gear up. If I'm practicing for IDPA, I'll use my tactical vest that I got from Proper, because IDPA, you have to have concealment. I'll wear Proper made me a great pair of shorts. I live in Texas, so it gets really hot, so I'll wear those shorts whenever I'm practicing. Same belt that I use in matches, I'm going to use when I practice, so I try to keep the same gear.
And if you were talking to a family who wanted to get their kids involved in competitive shooting, what would be some of the reasons or selling points why they should, as opposed to maybe some other sports?
It's a great way to learn discipline. Not discipline as far as, like disciplining your kid and stuff like that, but discipline into something, getting a schedule, learning how to work towards something. It's great for, physical fitness, getting out and moving and doing things, and it's a great confidence booster. When you shoot a gun and hit where you're supposed to hit,
that'll boost your confidence, especially the first few times you do it. You know, you realize like I can do this. I can do anything that I want to do. And my biggest tip though would be to start them early. I wish that I had started years ago. You know, so you know, just get them out there, start them early, encourage them, and don't be afraid to ask questions. You know, one of the biggest thing that I love about the gun industry is everybody is so inviting and so caring and so helpful. So, you know, get out there, get your kids out there. They're the future of the sports. So, you know, the earlier you can get them started, the better.
Any final thoughts? Anything else you would like to add?
No, just, you know, thank you for being here and thank you for including me in this. And, you know, if you're here at the show and you haven't had a chance to check out Proper, check them out. If you're coming to the show next year, definitely make sure you stop by the booth.
Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you.
Longbow Media here with Mandy Bachman at the Proper booth at the NRA annual meeting in Indianapolis.